and Iran, and now threatens to bring the Middle East to the brink of a major regional war, which could drag in the major powers with their nuclear arsenals. That's how serious this has become. And so today, after 10 months of marching, we're saying to the Prime Minister and the British government that they must now urgently reconvene Parliament, come back from their holidays and end all political, diplomatic and military support for the Israeli government. Because when they look back in the future at these times, this political class will not be forgiven for how they turn their backs on a people suffering a genocide. And when the day comes, when the Israeli government sits in the dock, as surely as they will, on their right hand will be the United States of America, and on the left will be the government of the United Kingdom of Britain. So we say to the Prime Minister, recall Parliament, end the political, military and diplomatic support for Israel. We must have a ceasefire, we must stop the bloodshed, and we must see a free Palestine. Solidarity!
Thanks very much indeed, Eddie. So just a couple of quick announcements. If anyone's feeling a bit hot and you haven't got water with you, we have water here behind the stage, so if you need that, please do make your way behind the stage where we can pass water to you. And stewards have asked me to let you know there's plenty of room over there on the grass. If you're feeling a bit hot in the crowd, do feel free to spread out over there onto the grass. So our next speaker is representing the Jewish bloc, which has been unwavering in its commitment to a ceasefire and an end to the genocide. Please welcome Glyn Secker.
Thank you. No way will I as a Jew, will we as Jews be associated with this Israel, with this barbarism, with this dreadful fusion of religious Zionism, Jew, Israel as an item, willingly led by neo-fascists, a defiler, a corrupter, which banishes justice, which hollows out Judaism to pack it with hate, supremacy, racism and extermination. If this is the light unto nations, then it is the light of the IDF sniper, the deadly spot on the child's head. If this is Jewish identity, if this is the blinding light of the world, then I am not a Jew, because I am a Jew for justice, because I am a Jew, because I am a Jew against genocide, a Jew against all genocides. To understand October the 7th, we need to have the courage to speak truth to power. To learn a simple lesson from history, the lesson of the Black Liberation Movement, in particular the Haiti slave rebellion of 1791 against France and the UK's 100 years of colonial brutality. In the uprising in Haiti, 25,000 French civilians, the elderly, women, children, babies were all massacred. Yes, it was a crime against humanity, but no one has ever deigned to describe this historical act of a rebellion as an act of terrorism and its leaders terrorists. The rebellion was led and is clearly understood as being generated by the brutality of slavery, for which the oppressed bear responsibility. The Secretary General of the United Nations, Guterres, was right. The war on Gaza didn't start on October the 7th. Now this list is not new to you, but it's important that I speak it as a Jew. It started in 1948 with Deir Yassin and 19 other massacres of villages by the Haganah army and the ethnic cleansing of 750,000 Palestinians, and the ethnic cleansing in 1967 of another 340,000. The start of the brutal military occupation and the violent settlers. The massacres of Sabra and Shatila refugee camps in 2002. And then the blockade and 4 yearly bombardments of Gaza from 2007. And 17 failed peace talks. On October the 7th came out 3/4 of a century of brutal repression. It was a crime against humanity, yes, but like Haiti, it was generated by oppression, for which the oppressors bear responsibility. Israel and its backers, United States, European Union, United Kingdom. The United Kingdom got it wrong about Haiti, and they are profoundly wrong about Israel. As Mandela famously said, our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians. And that is absolutely true for Jews. It's not anti-Semitic to boycott Israel. It's a duty for Jews to boycott Israel. For a people who oppress another can never themselves be free. Not in my name, not in our names. We're two peoples with one future. From all of the river, from all to all of the sea, we shall all be free.
Thanks very much indeed, Khalid, and thank you to the Fluent Jewish Bloc. Our next speaker is here representing the Muslim Association of Britain, one of the co-organisers of today's march. Please give a warm welcome to Ragad Al-Tigriti.
Sisters, brothers and friends, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you all. What more must we see until this genocide ends? How much more shock and rage must we feel until it shakes those in power to call for an end to the slaughter of Palestinians in Gaza? What we are witnessing is the rock bottom of humanity. The barbaric bombardment of helpless people is a continuing and persistent brutal reality of the people in Gaza. And it continues to define the lives of millions of Palestinians to a life of survival. This is an ongoing, relentless process of ethnic cleansing and occupation. This genocide has unmasked the ugly hypocrisy of nations who claim to be democratic and hold human rights. Their support of this heinous ongoing genocide is a clear act of superiority and double standards. Our unshaken stance alongside people of all faiths and backgrounds has been a call for an end to this bloodbath. This fight is not only to defend Palestinians, but for future generations, so when they look back and wonder, how did the world allow this genocide to happen? They see our continuous calls and ongoing protests worldwide, demanding an end to this genocide, demanding an end to arming Israel, and demanding justice for the people of Gaza and Palestinians everywhere. We stand here today to declare that this tragedy will be the downfall of all those who supported and facilitated these vicious crimes, and that we will not be silenced by those who attempt to intimidate and silence us. We will work tirelessly to change the future. Let us remain steadfast in our calls to demand an immediate end to this genocide, to end our arms sales to Israel, to every day we delay and continue arming Israel, is another day where lives are lost and UK is complicit. When the genocide ends, when the oppressive world crumble, those who facilitated, funded and endorsed these horrors upon the people of Gaza will have to face accountability. Until then, we will remain standing in unwavering solidarity with the Palestinian people, and we will continue to call out, stop genocide now! Stop genocide now! Stop genocide now! Thank you very much.
And Muslim Association of Britain. Now I've got another message from the stewards. Please, can you actively move over onto the grass? Not just if you want to, can you actually move over onto the grass to create some more space? Because there's quite a bit of crushing at the back there. So if you could just do what you can to make some more space there, that would be fantastic. Now our next speaker is representing War on Want. He's senior campaigner on Palestine. And of course we know that War on Want has been at the forefront of campaigning against Israel's genocide in Gaza and against the apartheid regime across Palestine. Please welcome Neil Salmons.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Peace be upon you all, and particularly all Palestinians and everyone in Palestine. I stepped outside the Divest conference down the way on Saturday. Too close? Closer. And a group of pro-Israelis came up to me, snarled at the Palestine t-shirt I was wearing and said, "What are you wearing that for? Palestine's never existed. It's a fairy tale." Partly inspired and angered, I've made up a little story. It's called The Story of Three Davids. It's dedicated particularly to David Lammy, you might have heard of. So, David II came to become Foreign Secretary at the perfect time to help make international justice and peace for the Palestinians and everyone in historic Palestine. Despite all the evidence, all the reasoning, all the arguments from the UN bodies, domestic law and international law obligations, he's failed to stop arming Israel. From Belfast, Glenarvan, Bracknell, Brighton, Bristol and Burnley, they're just the ones beginning with B. More than another 100 sites in the UK, they continue to make parts for the F-35. The F-35 alone. F-35 and other planes have been bombing north to south across Gaza, as you know. Baylahia, Jabalia, Medina Gaza, Karbala, Khan Yunis and Rafah, and much more. 3 Hiroshimas Gaza has suffered. I met David II in April, before he took over from David I, Evil Dave, Dave the genocide enabler, who lied his way consistently to keep arming Israel. I asked David and Sakir, who was with him, this was a Labour Party castle with lots of Union Jacks adorning the office, and I asked him, why on earth, David, he asked us to call him David, why on earth can you not demand the ending of arms for Israel? Why on earth can you not call out the torture, the rampant torture with impunity of Palestinians across the West Bank and Gaza? He said, wait for us to be in power, we will be the party and the government of international law. And why we've kept on waiting, haven't we? You start to wonder, which David is he? Is he David I or is he David II? And then I had the misfortune of overhearing the Today programme this morning, with Mishat Hussein interviewing David III, David Mensa, spokesperson for Netanyahu, PM of Israel, wanted for crimes against humanity, war crimes and genocide. And also, funnily enough, for 6 years the director of UK Labour for Israel and campaign director for a certain David Lammy. It's astonishing. Who are the Davids? 1, 2 and 3. They all feel the same. Now, David Lammy, wherever you are, Downing Street, Whitehall, on holiday, I don't know. Shake off the other David. You can still stand up for international law, for Palestinians, for justice. You can have a meaningful impact on the state of the world. Do it. Otherwise, the nightmares for Palestinians and for the rest of the world will continue. You can do it. But even regardless if you don't, we know, everyone here, the vast majority of people in the world are with the Palestinians, and we will keep on fighting until the Palestinians are free. Viva, viva Palestina!
We have a message of solidarity from the SOAS encampment in London. It goes as follows. The SOAS encampment is currently the final camp in London and is relocated for the third time in Bloomsbury between SOAS and UCL. SOAS students are here to show management that despite the fact that a few days ago they suspended 7 students with the threat of expulsion and with a pending court case for false allegation and arrests that were made and to dismiss student union sabbatical officers, that they will continue the fight. All of these actions happen simply due to the fact that students have spoken up against the genocide in Gaza and stand with Palestinian liberation. Please come by to visit their camp as they continue to centre the people of Gaza and Palestine and continue the support against the immense repression they have been facing. The student revolution will continue, and so our students would like to shout out and say how proud they are of other students at other universities, KCL, Queen Mary, Imperial and LSE. Drew upon the steadfastness from our people in Gaza by sustaining their fight for 100 days. In our thousands, in our millions. We are all Palestinians. In our millions, in our billions. We are all Palestinians. We are all Palestinians. We are all Palestinians. Stop harming Israel. Stop harming Israel. Stop harming Israel.
Occupation no more! Israel is a terrorist state! Palestine will be free! Palestine will be free!
Now listen, do you remember, I'm asking you, do you remember when we were out, when the skies were grey and genocide had begun, but we were still here? Do you remember when it was pouring in the rain and the genocide was taking place and we were still here in our numbers? And today is the hottest day of the year, but we are still here, we are still here, we are still here. And we will remain until we see a free Palestine. But listen, the message is clear. We can see we need to keep mobilizing. We need to keep educating. We need to keep empowering. We need to keep on the streets. But remember, the work isn't just on the streets. The work is in our communities. We need to make sure we get to our universities. We get to our workplaces. We get to our homes and continue to campaign. We continue to educate. And on that note, on August the 24th, there is the Palestine Convention. Bring these people together to engage and educate. So make sure you're there. And the next national demonstration is on September the 7th. September the 7th, the next national demonstration. We know a genocide continues. The reason why we're here, because two mornings ago during Fajr prayers, 100 people praying in the morning were killed. They were massacred. Their bodies torn apart all over. This massacre is the one that continues. The genocide is happening one massacre at a time. We are here because we cannot afford to normalize this genocide. We cannot afford to normalize any massacre, any Palestinian that's killed. So therefore we need to continue to respond. And for us to respond, we need to be here. We need to have it in our hearts. We need to have it in our souls. We need to be one. Free!
Palestine!
Free!
Palestine!
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shamil. Thank you. Now it's a great honour to welcome our next speaker. Please give a very, very warm reception to the Palestinian ambassador to the UK.
Friends, brothers and sisters, you are still having to come out in emergency protest to decry the mass murder, the mass destruction, to protest the bombing of yet another UN school, UN shelter, only 2 days ago. Who would have thought that 310 days and still the genocide is going? Who would have thought that 310 days and the world is failing to stop the atrocities? Palestinians are no longer just killed in numbers, they are now killed in kilograms. In kilograms. In the Tabi'in school 2 days ago, children were given body bags of 70 kilos if they were looking for their fathers or mothers. Parents were given body bags of remains of 15 kilos if they were looking for their child. Because the Israeli bombs, the US provided bombs, burned the bones of children, of women, of parents, of families. How did we come to this? But you still coming out sends a very clear message. The message is loud and clear. And we all still going on sends a message. The first is about the savagery, the barbarity of Israel. No limits. Every time we think they could not sink lower, they still do. No limits. No limits. The second message is, you're still coming out. You still have belief in your hearts. You came out only after a call of few hours this morning to tell this government, to tell the world that we demand a ceasefire. Ceasefire now! And today coincides with the 75th anniversary of international conventions to prevent wars, the Geneva Conventions. The irony, when we all came around 75 years and decided collectively, never again, never again, we will allow for the murder of children, of families, for the mass murder, the mass destruction. And yet we allow certain governments, certain states to destroy all what we built. Destroy all these rules. But my friend, I stand before you today and I add my voice to yours. We need to make our voices loud and clear. We demand ceasefire now, immediately, now.
Ceasefire now!
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now! Ceasefire now!
And we tell the UK government and we tell all other governments that ceasefire will not come about only by words, by statements, by sympathy. It comes with action. Action! Number one, arms embargo now. Arms embargo now. Stop sending these weapons that are dropped on the heads of children, of families, destroying schools, hospitals, universities. 70% of Gaza's houses destroyed. 80% of Gaza's schools bombed. 90% of Gaza's hospitals gone. 100% of Gaza's universities decimated by weapons provided by the international community. Arms embargo! Arms embargo! Arms embargo! Number two, sanctions! Sanctions now! Sanctions now! Sanctions now! Sanctions now! Sanctions now!
Sanctions now! Sanctions now! Sanctions now! Sanctions now!
And for a country, for a government that has been found to be in grave violation of international law by the International Court of Justice, by every major international court, then sanctions becomes not a demand, but a legal obligation on governments to sanction all illegalities, sanction all settlements, all settlers, all companies profiting from the settlers, sanction companies that send weapons. Sanctions now!
Sanctions now! Sanctions now! Sanctions now! Sanctions now!
And number three, what are they waiting for? Recognize the state of Palestine now! Now! This isn't a gift or a favor. This is a birthright. It's been overdue, long overdue. Do it now. Do it because it's right. Do it because it's just. Do it because it helps in ushering a new path for peace. And I want to tell you lastly from my heart, the pain is immense, immense. The suffering is undescribable. But the pride, the insistence, the stubbornness of our people is going to go on and on and on until Palestine is free. We will be free. And I'll tell you, our flag, the flag of Palestine, has become the symbol of freedom, the symbol of justice, the symbol of anti-racism, anti-hatred, anti-bigotry, the symbol of equality, the symbol of love. Raise the flag high, raise it with pride, raise it with love. And I assure you that not only Palestine will be free, but all of us will be free from racism, from hatred, from discrimination, from supremacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you for those words. Our next speaker is the voice of truth, the voice of peace and justice in our Parliament. He is indeed the People's Prime Minister. Please welcome Jeremy Corbyn MP.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to follow Hussam Zumlot, and I'm full of admiration, not just for his work as the ambassador from Palestine, but also the amazing energy that he brings to all the events and all of his work, and also the abominable way that his family have suffered in Gaza, in the West Bank, and all over. And I think we should show our support, our thanks, our sympathy and our solidarity with Hussam and all others. And thank you everyone for coming to this demonstration at very short notice, because what happened over the weekend was yet another chapter in the abominable history of the Israeli occupation of the West Bank and of Gaza. And somebody somewhere within the Israeli Defense Force instructed somebody somewhere to bomb a school, knowing full well there were people in that school who were sheltering to try to get to a place of safety. People that had been driven out of their homes to what they believed to be a place of safety, driven from what they believed to be a place of safety to another place they believed to be safe, to yet another place, to yet another place. And they finally finish up in that school, which is bombed. Now those bombs didn't come from nowhere. Those bombs are made in the USA, made in Britain, made in France. They're flown to Israel. They're flown to Israel by US aircraft that stop off at RAF Akrotiri in Cyprus on the way, and they're taken there. And those weapons are used to take civilian life and to take the lives of thousands and thousands of Palestinians. And so, in our demand for a ceasefire, and that we will keep on and on making as long as it takes, it has to be linked also to an end to the arms supplies to Israel by British companies and by Britain. And to link up with those growing number of people in the United States and other countries around the world that have either legally challenged what their governments are doing, as has happened in the Netherlands, as has happened in Canada, or those that are making the political demands at the same time. We have to keep on making those demands. And whilst we got an inkling of an idea from the Foreign Office that they might be about to take action on the licenses of arms to be delivered to Israel, they suddenly delayed that statement because, in quotes, their concerns, close quotes, about the situation in the whole region, such as the impending stress with Iran and with Lebanon and with other countries in the region. Well, no, don't worry, it's their statement, not mine. Please don't. I admire your enthusiasm, but your accuracy is wrong. My friend. What I just want to say is this, that we have to keep on making that demand for an end to arms supplies to Israel and an end to the security cooperation. Because that endless overflowing of Gaza by the Royal Air Force, what is it for? Where's the information going? Who's it being sent to? And who is it supporting in what it's doing? If we're serious, and we are, about defending the Palestinian people and their rights to just survive, then it has to be an end to arms supplies to Israel now. And I was just thinking, and I'll conclude with this, I was just thinking that try and imagine another country somewhere in the world, another country that has been found wanting under the Geneva Conventions about the requirements on occupying powers, that has been found wanting by the UN General Assembly, that has been found wanting by the United Nations Security Council, that has been found wanting by the International Criminal Court against its government and its leaders, has been found wanting by the International Court of Justice on a charge of acts of genocide against the Palestinian people. Wouldn't there be some kind of sanctions taken against any other government in the world that had had that string of accusations levelled and confirmed against it? And so we must use all the arguments we can. The legal arguments, the moral arguments, the arguments of decency and the arguments of peace. And just simply say this, if we carry on pouring arms into the conflict, we carry on not achieving a ceasefire, more and more Palestinian lives will be lost. More and more money will be made out of the arms trade, and another war will break out, be it with Yemen, with Lebanon, with Iran, or whoever else, and the situation will get worse and worse and worse. So we have to do all that we can. That means marching, that means meeting, that means demonstrating, and that means mobilizing large numbers of people. And we've been doing that with great success. What I would also say is that our marches, and there have now been 14 of them, national marches, and hundreds local events all over the country. Well done PSC, Stop the War, CND, and everybody else that's organised those events. But that unity that's come together of those hundreds of thousands of people all over the country are also the same people who are the backbone of the anti-racist campaign in our society, where they link together the issues of Islamophobia and racism within our society and bring all communities together as we are here tonight. So our message to our government over there, our message to the Israeli government, and our message to the arms manufacturers is we are not disappearing, we were on your case, and we will keep on and on making demand. Ceasefire now, cease the arms supplies to Israel, justice for the Palestinian people.
Thanks very much indeed, Jeremy. Thank you for everything that you do. And now, friends, let's give a big welcome to our final speaker, to Ben Jamal from the Palestine Solidarity Campaign.
Thank you, friends, let's remember again why we are here. These are the words of a survivor of the Al Tabeen massacre. There were pieces